good evening. It's Coach Alexis. I hope everyone is doing great. Again, welcome to all our new members to the Facebook group of Fitness Goals and Chronic Illness. Most days or Wednesdays we do Workout Wednesday. Hopefully even more days where myself and other moderators will be going over different exercises that can potentially help you defend your condition, as well as doing great workouts just that more realistic and can help keep us motivated. Today we're going to be working on knee strengthening. So I know that knee strengthening was something that came up last week, or maybe even this week, and it was something that I really want to go over. So I know that when we think of knee strengthening, we usually think of squats, we usually think of lunges, deadlifts, but we also know that for a lot of us, those exercises can be very strenuous. They can cause aggravation of certain symptoms, especially for like say POTS or anything else really where it comes with pressure and movement. And so that's why I want to do something that's very minimal, that's little movement, but that will still help strengthen your knee in different muscle groups. So what we're going to do is we're going to get started. I have a Pilates ball. This workout is going to be very Pilates flow focused. Of course, if you don't have a Pilates ball, you can always use like a pillow, or you can use a foam roll if you have one. But we're going to start with the Pilates ball. And what we're going to do is that we're going to bring it. You see my leg? Perfect. Okay. So you're going to be on your sit bone or on your butt. You're going to have one knee forward, pointing outwards. Other leg behind it is also going to be pointing in the same direction. So basically you have your top foot is connected to your bottom knee. What you're going to do is you're going to bring the ball underneath the bottom knee, the one that's below, and it's going to just hang out there. So now what we're going to do now is twist our body over, and depending on your wrist, like if it's sensitive to pressure or not, you can be on your hands or you can be down on your elbows, but we're going to be twisting over the top knee, and we're going to be dropping down to the floor. So I'm going to be on my hand to start, and then I'll also transition around to my elbows as well to show you the difference. There's a little bit of a core difference. So when you're on your elbows, you're going to be using your core a little bit more, versus on your hands, you're going to be using activating your hips a little more. But aside from that, I really would more focus on your wrist and what works best for you and pressure and handling pressure. So again, we're going to be shifting over into a little angle. Both hands are over the top knee and thigh. And if you see my bottom foot, we're going to be rotating that up to the ceiling. So you want to put pressure on the ball. Think about rotating it over and raising it and dropping it down. Raise and drop. Raise and drop. So this is called internal rotation. And so what we're doing is we're strengthening more the inner thigh, and we're releasing and relaxing the outer thigh. So this is really important for hip pain when it comes to say like the TFL and type performance that is taking over, and you're missing out on the stabilizers of your inner thigh. Again, this is going to be like Pilates flow. So we're going to be moving through it. We're going to do 3 more. 3, 2. And now we're going to rotate. Push the leg out. See, bring it in and drop the foot down to the floor. So you're going to pick up the foot, push the foot, extend, pull it back in so everything is back parallel, and drop. Pick up the foot, extend, push, pull it in, and drop to the floor. Good, extend and drop the whole time. The upper body is nice and long. You want to think about twisting. And from here, we're going to do 4 more. I'm going to drop down to my elbows. You can kind of see the difference. Push, raise. So when you're on your elbow, you can get a little bit higher range of motion in your internal stabilizers and internal thigh muscles. Last 3. Good. And really extending all the way up into your range of motion, so whatever is best for you. Putting pressure into the ball of the inner thigh, knee. Last one. So from here, we're going to stay extended, and we're going to be pressing down into the ball. So I'm going to come back up on my hands, you can see. Leg is nice and long, and what you want to do is keeping your toe facing upwards, squeeze, squeeze. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Whew. And relax. Good. So now we're going to be switching directions. So we're going to still stay on this leg, but instead of the knee turning down inwards, internal rotation, now we're going to be turning outwards. So if you want to think like fire hydrants, clams, this is kind of the motion that we're working on. We're strengthening glute medius and piriformis, and those muscles help stabilize the hips, which will help strengthen the knee and take on more force. So really, a lot of times what happens with knee pain isn't really so much that the knee is weak, but sometimes there's things going on at the bottom, below the knee, like at the foot ankle, or at the top, above, at the hip, that is causing the knee to take on too much force, and that's why you're feeling pain. So what we're focusing on today is the top. What we'll be focusing on next week, and I promise you, is the ankle and the bottom. So we still have our Pilates ball. Bottom knee is still parallel with the top foot. So that means that they're both bent. Sitting upwards, you want to place pressure on your ball or pillow, leaning over. Think about rotating upwards and down. So yeah, I really love this workout because you are definitely strengthening the knee, definitely strengthening the muscles around the knee, and you don't have to be getting up and down. There's no risk of fainting. There's no risk of overexerting yourself. It's very minimal, but it's very, very effective. For these reps, we're going to do about 8 to 10. And then, of course, we're doing a Pilates flow, so we're going to keep going into that too. Last 3, dropping down with elbows, you can see. Again, when you're down, you get a little bit more range of motion, a little more of a squeeze. So that's something you can consider when you're thinking about positioning. If you wanted to, for extra resistance, you can add a resistance band around the top foot, around the bottom foot, and around the thigh of the bottom leg, so that you can add more resistance to it. We're not going to do that today, but in the future, like on YouTube for my video, I'll be featuring a resistance band so you can kind of see how that is. So first, we went up and down, and now we're going to go through the same motion of extending it and bringing it back in. So both hands are down. You want to first rotate the foot, knee upwards to the ceiling. Extend. Pull it in and back down. Rotate. Extend. Pull down. Upper body is nice and long. Try to drop the shoulders away from the ears. The more we can rotate and more we can have the knee parallel with the foot, the better. So you want to try to have everything nice and parallel. I think I'm hyperextending. Yeah, there we go. See, this is why it's good to record yourself. It's so hard to stop the lockout. 2, last one. And from here, toes up, everything's parallel. 1, pressing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10. Let's go extra. 12, 13, 14, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Big squeeze and pull it in. So that was internal rotation, external rotation. What we're going to do simply now is switch sides. So again, Top leg is facing forward towards the couch in front of me. Bottom leg is facing the same direction. Bottom knee is touching the top foot. And we're going to go ahead and bring my Pilates ball underneath. And first we're going to start with internal rotation. So, upper body's nice and long. Shoulders tucked down away from the neck and the ears. And let's go, rotate. Good. So, this side's a little tight. So when it's tight or it's cramping, what you can do is definitely drop down to your hands so you can get more range of motion. So I'm going to drop down into my elbows so I can get more into it. Think about having the toes touching the floor and your heel reaching for the ceiling as you rotate. And you want to think about pressing into the ball or your pillow to get kind of a push and stability. So you're not yanking at the joints. So you don't want to yank at the joints to rotate. You want to press down into the ball so that you can get the feedback from it. This is so good for my head. Last one, good. Staying close, now we're going to extend out and in. So pull it out, squeeze it in. For heel this time is reaching for the ceiling, toe is pointing towards the floor. We are extending the knee to your range of motion, try not to lock out too much. More, 2, and 1, and we're pressing for 15 reps. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Now we're going to be going to internal rotation, so that means we're going to bring our Pilates ball down to our foot. Of the bottom leg, and again, top foot and bottom knee are still nice and close. So first, starting with rotation, opening up the knee to the ceiling, pulling it back in. Shoulders are dropped away from your ears. That's something I definitely have to work on because these traps are tight. Rotating it up. Last 3, 2, body's nice and long. Good. Staying here, we're going to extend out. Make sure that we're not locking the knee. Pulling it back in, rotating to the floor. Push out to the ceiling. Now I'm going to go ahead and drop down so you guys can see what that looks like. Rotate up. Rotate up. I am walking out crazy. There we go. Last 3. 2. So those are our rotations. So internal, external rotation.